1198, January 6th. Pay attention to the very end and self-liberate yourself forever with what we've left behind. 1198, built by Keith, January 3rd, 2024. Evote.one reverses the course of human history by replacing every known voting system and decision-making system with 4, actually 8, constitutional laws. Call and protect our lives today. No excuses. 1198, December the 24th, Christmas Eve. God's Constitution. We now self-liberate ourselves with the use of Evote.one. 1198, built by Keith. Stop what you're doing. Pay attention. I was sent by God to earth 65 years ago to publish the most powerful revolution of peacemaking in world history, GodsConstitution.com and .org. And it's based upon this one publication will be the bestseller in world history because it teaches each one of you how to be confident small business owner. Until you take effect and literally decide your own reality, you're dead. The Lucifers have already won, called the New World Order. I call them criminal ruling elite. They do it because they control the databases, your information. They control every piece of your marketplace, and you're blinded by greed and ego and arrogance, the original 7 deadly sins, that you have no choice but to be compliant. Oh, if you get upset and mad, just take some drugs, go gambling, go borrow some money, go buy something. Capitalism and consumerism is actually a sin. The only way to be prosperous and thrive is to be a producer. TeamMoneyMachine.com was the original publication of Basic Financial Literacy. I have nothing to hide. There's all my direct contact information. I've already shown how to contact me directly at all my phone numbers. Now I have a third number that's coming online, and it's all based on PeaceSummit2020.com. Here's your direct real-time voting system, and your database is Freedom Open Information Act. We also have direct protection of only God up to this point, based upon Duncan claim.org. Here's our press credentials. We even have our own news group. We're the only group that press you, the public, to take care of your community, to act with fearless authority to protect the rights of all others, which means you have to be observant of who the troublemakers are, the problem makers, and get them help and put them in prison and death row. Here are some of the other solutions that we have. You can look up Find Keith the Wife. It's really about usnews1.org, Creator Keith, and even investment philosophy of investkeith.org, which is so prominent and successful already. And we're going to pull up the documents. DuncanClaim.org was the worst criminal civil conspiracies to destroy Unocracy.org. This is part of DuncanClaim.org that proves forever that there was a $500 bond, but then a no bond based upon Robert D. Rowe's #1 most manhunted $200 million bounty on his head, based upon these false 2 charges that were used on October the 3rd to have me kidnapped, ended up being 848 days. This document is worth more than $500 million. We're now calling mass protest rallies against the criminals who are criminally blocking, you get this? Blocking every investigation, every turnover, because they're not responding. They're scared to death that the people are going to replace them because they're not doing their job. This is the original Marietta Police Department report 1.11.2506 that proves forever that I was physically robbed, and I've already filed DuncanClaim.org. Here's the number. Go to DuncanClaim.org and you'll find out who did this to you. $500 million bounty on the head of every person so that you, my people, will actually go out and do citizens' arrests. Legally, of course, and you will be paid by the victims on the criminals' heads to turn them in, and then we'll use everything I've ever done my entire life to simplify so that everyone benefits. 8 billion people identify as only middle class, positive net worth, no one in debt, no more criminals. It's the greatest purge in world history because the criminals don't care about you. They only care about chain of command authority and massive accumulation of your assets so that they can depopulate you. Every one of you. That's called WorldWar4.org. And the meek and the mild will never inherit Mother Earth because you're too busy thinking about yourself. And I can't be any more forceful to say that there's only a few of us who are true visionaries of PeaceSummit2020.com who see reality and have spent our whole careers working with God. Go to the very top of UNIFY.org and answer the 5 primary questions that God is asking you about your purpose of why you were conceived in the first place. What is your purpose of even breathing God's air? Why are you on earth? You can't answer that question because you're constantly thinking only about yourselves and how you can take advantage of everybody else around you, called a con artist. Most people typically just call you a criminal, a violator of God's Constitution.org, the original 11 commandments. You see, if nobody steals anything, nobody has to lie, nobody has to hide, and no one would ever dare recruit other people to commit criminal acts against you. Do you finally understand who I always have been? Nobody has perfect vision except apparently myself. I've never in my entire life ever violated somebody's rights. And I've never lied and harmed someone or stalked someone or stolen or even borrowed money. I'm in horrible debt right now because criminals robbed you of Unocracy.org from October 3rd, 2011, all the way through January 28th, 2014. The most critical lawsuit against the criminals is Norfolk, Virginia 411 CR 112, again at DuncanClaim.org. We are recruiting you, 8 billion people, to deal with your own problems. And then you help everybody else around you to deal with their issues. And that means we're going to know who is who owns what, and who trades what with who. I can't be any more clear that this is a new economic system where everyone benefits. It reverses multi-level marketing Ponzi schemes to the green sales funnel. Shortens the supply chain so everyone becomes a producer selling to producers. It's an entirely new, simple, decentralized, privatized banking, financial, spiritual, economic, energy, water, land, business, spiritual, that's everything. We have all the solutions at the very top of Unocracy.org. And we had SolutionGovernment.com. Go look at that. And SolutionGovernment.org. Our whole focus is to create a world of only non government organizations, no more political parties at any level, no more taxes, no more precedent rulings that are not laws. They're a single judgment passed by a judge that's used to deny you of all your rights to be a free will citizen. 1198, built by Keith. Call us directly and be paid to run any of our non-government organizations. How much better an offer can that possibly be? Answers, none. We're the only people that are worth $40 billion that are selling off all of our patents to directly finance, called direct funding, God's perfected UNIFY.org, also known as the ultimate final godscrusade.org. Keith Duncan was always the greatest philosopher, peacemaker, promise keeper, and philanthropist in world history, with a value over $40 billion in intellectual property and re-education methodology to stabilize your world economies. 1198, built by Keith. The most powerful video of all time is everything we've done to unify the world as only middle-class positive net worth. It's all based on the original 4 Chinese monkeys of do no evil. If no one steals, no one lies, and uses godsconstitution.org, we come into a crime-free utopia of unocracy.org. It means no more stock market publicly traded anything and only local credit unions in your community. No cybercrime, no political parties. Everyone becomes a peacemaker. We are indeed drkeith.org, the number one most intelligent, wealthy expert in American universal history.